Hi everyone, this is Kit Kowalski. Today I'm doing an unscripted reaction video. This video is a promo that is featured on ABC iView for the series First Day Season 2. So First Day is a series about a transgendered child, so a boy who believes himself to be a girl, starting school, and all the trials and tribulations that he encounters. And this is the lead actor, whose name is Evie McDonald, talking about why this series is important.
Hi, my name is Evie McDonald. I play Hannah Bradford on First Day.
I'm just going to note, every time I see Evie, I get the sense that he's had some sort of lip filler. So I guess two things really stick out to me. One is that he always seems very young, and indeed, when he was in First Day, he was quite young indeed when it first started. And also, I always get the sense that his lips are sort of unnaturally large. It might just be me, but let me know if you also find that strangely distracting.
First Day is about a young girl starting high school as she is in the beginning of her transition, and it talks about some of the issues and things trans people might have to overcome.
So, people starting high school, so young people starting high school, face a number of issues. For example, finding their friendship group, settling in, getting along with the work. These are the kind of struggles that everybody faces. One of the things that the character Hannah Bradford faces is that he's actually lying to his friendship group, and it is one of the big themes in the first season is, what if they find out? What if they find out that I'm really a boy? And it causes a lot of angst. It causes a lot of grief. And this is all internally caused angst and grief because this boy is putting forward a persona to the world that's not genuine.
Mate, I thought you were going to try and be early this year.
This is me trying.
Should we go in?
If we have to.
I think it's really important that trans people.
Now, note, actually, at the end of season 1, Hannah Bradford is found out as being trans and has trepidation about going back to school for year 2. But here we go. We saw the pride flag, we saw the rainbow flag on somebody's backpack, and there's really just the director's laying it on really thick here. It's a safe space in big old inverted commas for trans people.
And gender diverse people are shown on TV. It's like,
Remember that he's saying that representation matters. That will come back.
like Hannah, people are allowed to connect to that, and people have been able to connect to her. And that hasn't been done before in Australia. And that's why it was so important.
Well, Georgie Stone was on Neighbours, so it kind of has been done before. That's a bit of a petty point scoring there, but technically.
Do you think people didn't vote for me because I'm trans?
So we're personalising the narrative. The character Hannah Bradford goes for the school captaincy, and of course, if he's not successful, it must be because he's trans. And this just, I found the drama to be so reflective of this internal struggle for identity. There's this authenticity that's on the surface, and there's a deeper authenticity that's being hidden. And there's a conflict between those two, and it causes this internal conflict. Is this because I'm trans? Is this because I'm really a boy? Is this because I've been lying to my friends? It just makes this whole other issue on top of these other interpersonal issues that other teenagers have.
I don't know. Why? Well, it seemed to come up a lot when I was talking to them.
in this season, Hannah starts to explore dating. And I think there's this big stigma that comes with dating a trans person, that you might be gay or you are dating somebody that's not real.
So have a think about why people might have there might be a stigma that a boy dating a trans girl might be gay. And that's because there's a biological reality to sex. So sex isn't the dress, sex isn't the hair, sex isn't the lip gloss or the fillers. Sex is your sex body. It's in every single cell. And a boy who's attracted to another boy might be gay. He might not be, but he might be. It's a real question. And that you're dating someone who's not real. Well, again, there's that interplay between, there's the authenticity on the surface, which is the I'm living my authentic life as a girl, which is the wigs, the hair, the dress, the lipstick. And then there is, that's actually a facade, and underneath it is a boy.
They're pretending, and that's not at all what it is. Two people are allowed to be in love.
Yes, two people are allowed to be in love. Two boys are allowed to be in love. Two girls are allowed to be in love. That's not up for discussion, really. What's up for discussion is whether or not a boy who's attracted to another boy is still gay, even if that second boy has lipstick on.
It's why we fought for gay marriage. It's love is.
So, gay marriage and, let's see, transgender dating are not exactly the same thing. Two gay men who are in love are not trying to put on a show for the world. They just simply are. Now, he's about to say love is love. Now, this is, as we have seen, a really dangerous catch cry, because not all love is love. Stalking love is not love, right? Intergenerational love is not love. Violent love, all of these things, this is all love, but they're not all the same, and they're not all good for us.
Is love, and it should be the same with the trans person. It should be accepted that I'm a person and they're a person and they love me and I love them. Why isn't that okay?
It totally is okay. I don't think anyone has said that it's not okay for you to date a boy. I think it is a little bit naive to think that dating a boy makes you a girl.
And that is what we wanted to show, because so many people, even towards me in real life, can be so negative about a trans person dating somebody.
I just wanted to say that I've been thinking a lot about what happened with those boys. And there's always going to be people like that.
Yeah, I really do believe that trans roles should be played by trans people. And I feel like it's only us that can bring that level of authenticity to that role.
So this is a really interesting sort of line here. Either you're saying that there's no skill in acting, right? Because you can only play roles that line up exactly with your identity. Well, actually, that is probably the only option for what you're saying there. And it also, I hear the word gatekeeping a lot when it comes to discussions around certain identity-based communities, like you're gatekeeping access to certain knowledge, right? But this is an example of gatekeeping. This is an example of trans people saying, look, we're going to keep a gate around portrayal of trans identities. And that means that they're only ever going to be portrayed in a favourable light. Whereas if we accept that trans people are just people, then there will be trans people who aren't very nice. There will be trans people bank robbers. There will be trans people who do all sorts of different things. And, you know, if you really want all that representation, then, you know, you have to let something go, don't you?
I'll vote for you too. You're heaps nicer than I expected. When I found out you were trans, I didn't think I'd like you.
Absolutely, I've experienced microaggressions in my life.
Okay, so so we take something that's actually a bit of a compliment here, like two girls saying, yeah, you're nicer than I thought, right? I had a preconceived notion about you, but as a 13 or 14-year-old, I gave that up and I gave you a go, and I think I'll vote for you to be captain. And we're turning it into those kids being little tiny bigots, right? So Evie is about to explain what a microaggression is.
A microaggression is something that not many people would see as offensive. A slight tone and words that can be seen as like acceptable, but it's not necessarily nice.
So a microaggression is a way of sort of systematizing the way you think about people not being very nice, or it's a way of trying to systematize you taking people's tone of voice personally. So I didn't like your tone of voice. I found it unpleasant. Not actually aggressive, but microaggressive, right? A backhanded compliment, you know. So now instead of this being something that is part of like interactions, i.e. we don't expect everybody to be nice all the time. Now we have microaggressions and we can label it, and we can you know, do the calling out ritual, and we can let's see. We can see it as a system of oppression, as part of a system of oppression. And so it's not just one person being a little bit, you know, disrespectful or a little bit unkind, or maybe someone's having a bad day, you know, and is using a crappy tone of voice, or pick their words badly because they're a 13-year-old kid. No, now it's microaggressions, and it's part of the larger system of oppression against trans people.
And I think it was so important to show that in First Day, because not many people realize that these are things that actual people say to us, to our faces.
I bet they've never had a trans class captain before. What's that got to do with it?
Do we remember when Evie was talking about representation and how important representation was? So when somebody now calls out, hey, you're the first transgender class captain, that's a microaggression. So it's okay for him to say it, right? But it's not okay for somebody else who's not trans to say it. Again, there's that gatekeeping, right? So there's a dual level narrative, and there is a power imbalance where the trans person is always right.
It was really important that First Day was made, because there are so many other trans people out there that didn't have the opportunity to watch this growing up, and I feel like that would...
Yeah, there are a lot of trans people out there who didn't have the opportunity to watch this growing up, because the rates of transgender identification amongst children have been skyrocketing. In the last 10 years, the graph is exponentially increasing of young people who are identifying as trans. Interestingly enough, most of the children who actually do identify as trans are identifying as non-binary, right? And it is something that they will grow out of. But even referrals to gender clinics, right? It is skyrocketing. This is not something like, being gay, where there were always people who were engaging in homosexual sex, and society had varying attitudes to it over time. Transgenderism is an incredibly new phenomenon. So it's not surprising that people didn't have this growing up.
Would have helped them a lot. And even in my case, if I saw something like this, it would have been so important to me to be able to show my parents and to be using the right communication to...
So this is about a child going to high school, and Evie is not much older than the child being depicted. So I don't really know. He was actually involved in the filming and the creation of this. At what point was he going to be watching it to get information about how to speak to his parents?
Show them properly, because the one thing that my parents and I struggled with was I didn't know how to talk to them and I didn't know what to say. It's Trans Day visibility. Let's be ourselves and love the people around us and spread kindness.
Yeah, let's do that. Love the people around you, absolutely. Let's be kind to others, absolutely. I don't think it is kind to enable people who have delusions about reality. And I don't think it's kind to medicalize children who just, I don't think it's kind to medicalize young boys who want to wear lipstick, have pretty hair, and date other boys. It's not kind. It's terrible. So yeah, let's spread kindness. Don't sterilize your kids because they want to wear a dress. Please note that this was funded by Screen Australia and it was brought to you by the ABC in their furtherance of the trans agenda. So thanks everybody. That is my unscripted reaction to the first day promo with Evie McDonald. Please like, share and subscribe, and comment below if you have any further insights. I'd love to hear them. Thanks.